Alrighty, guys. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Friday. I'm very happy it's Friday. This market has made me enjoy Fridays lately. The craziness. How's everyone doing? Had everyone hold up yesterday? The only way I found success in this market recently, guys, is to stop. Just stop around 12 and stop trying to trade all the volatility. What a crazy day it was around, back half of the day yesterday was wild. So good morning, guys. How we doing? Welcome to another live stream. Welcome to Friday. Happy Friday. Yesterday was brutal. Yeah, yesterday was one of the crazier days I've ever seen, I think. Just with all the stuff going on. I mean, we had like a sort of weak bounce in the morning. We got that Fed news that caused the market to slip. And we get Affirm that leaks. Then we get Affirm that leaks their earnings. You get Affirm that goes up, goes down, goes up, then completely tanks. And it's just craziness. So hopefully everyone held up through that. I took a few trades yesterday. Lost on a Roblox trade. And took a few winners on Nvidia and Microsoft. I traded Microsoft as well, and then that was it. I tried to step away. I've been trying to step away, because I felt that want to continue to watch, and it's dangerous, very dangerous. Born into volatility, yeah. When will this up and down end? Yeah, it's a good question, Fidel. It's hard to say, man. We need to see some direction. We still have no direction. We got some fear yesterday, right? We got a little bit of concerns yesterday for sure. High inflation readings. You get some headlines coming out about, interest rate hikes coming sooner than expected. So a lot more headline risk. A lot of headlines, sort of spooking out the market. But when I look at, the charts, you can definitely see both sides, right? You can definitely see where this market can totally give up. And then you can see where this market is holding up. So it makes it very difficult for us as traders to try to trade a certain direction, because it just looks like the market can go at any direction at any time. So it gives you a lot of uncertainty, a lot of questions about, what's the real move here. And, I found it better just to sit this out, personally. I know, some people may think you want to trade every single day, but I think today is a day where I'm going to be extremely careful. Not going to trade 0 DTE today. As much as, I want to, and as much as it could be very lucrative for me, I think it also could be very dangerous for me. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. We'll talk about the market today. We'll talk about what levels we need to watch on the Nasdaq, on the Dow, on the S&P. Let's talk about some of the craziness yesterday, and just get an idea of what we're thinking here. So, welcome to the live stream again, guys. Yesterday got crazy. A lot of people yesterday. I would assume we don't get that many again. That seems like it was maybe because of the title, and it was CPI data live. I'm assuming that's probably why a lot of people saw it. So we'll see what happens today. If it gets too out of control, I know you guys are early, so I can say it now. But if it gets too out of control, we're gonna have to change the chat to maybe subscribers or something to limit the chat, because I want you guys to still be able to talk and me still be able to see good questions. And when it's too busy, I can't really read anything. So I want to be able to still help here, and interact with you guys, not have a chat that's just running 1,000 miles an hour, because that's what was going on yesterday. So let's go ahead and get started here. Futures, as always, economic and earnings calendar. Economic calendar, not much today. Really not much. I don't think it's going to affect the market at all. But I think what may affect the market today is more of headlines that may come out about inflation, headlines that may come out about interest rates. If there's any type of, Fed talking, or just, headlines that come out say, hey, this guy thinks rates should increase quicker, sort of like what happened yesterday. Then that could definitely affect the market, and that's what we need to be careful of here, right? because every single day we come into this market with the opportunity or the potential that something comes out in the market and it just comes out of the blue. That's exactly what happened yesterday. So we need to protect ourselves from that. So today you have consumer sentiment index at 10 a.m., which I don't think I expect much of a movement off that. So nothing too much there. But earnings calendar. Last night we had a few names report last night. I'll go ahead and pull them up for you guys. 1 second. I can't wait for the Fed stuff to be over. Yeah. So here's last night. Affirm, Twitter, Cloudflare, Zillow, Expedia. Some decent ones. Affirm looks like they just reported earnings intraday because it got leaked. If you guys did not hear about this, someone on their Twitter account accidentally posted the earnings, or at least a little clip, a little like insight of what happened on the earnings before market close, and the stock just went insane. Up, down, up, down, up 10%, down 25%, just insanity. Got, either made a lot of people a lot of money or also screwed a lot of people. So very dangerous stuff there yesterday on Affirm. But that's the earnings. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about, we'll look at the chart on Affirm. We'll talk about my attempted Roblox trade, why I still think this could work out, but, just why I got out of it, why I stayed safe. Nvidia back below 260. This is a big level that it went back below. Not liking that. Needs to get back above that for upside. Walmart, you guys know I took profits on that trade. That trade came all the way back down to support. So if you're looking at Walmart as an opportunity, it is right back down to its major support. So make sure to watch that. Banks. Thought banks would hold up yesterday, which they usually do not. Banks very rarely hold up an intraday move, and it did exactly the same thing. Banks moved higher morning, gave up the entire move in the afternoon. That's just classic bank movement that I have seen lately. That's why I have a very tough time trusting bank trades. But banks give it up. We'll look at that. Qualcomm, you guys know Qualcomm's been trading in a really large channel. It's back at its channel low. Could be an opportunity. Want to share it with you. Boeing testing major resistance again. So Boeing, you guys know, have been on a nice little run, and you guys know it's in that downtrend. It is testing the top of that downtrend again. It's getting very close. So I'm very interested to see what does it do this time, because every time Boeing makes the run up, you get a lot of positivity around it, right? You start to say, hey, this time looks pretty strong. There's a lot of nice price action, which there has been. Boeing has been very strong lately, but I'm being very careful at this downtrend resistance. So let's keep an eye on that. Snow had a major move yesterday. We talked about Snow on the live stream yesterday. It got through that major level and just gapped up. I mean, it just rallied, gave it all back. So this is just a classic example of what this market's doing, right? If you took Snow on that resistance breakout looking for continuation, over a few days, and it wasn't just a quick scalp or a nice little day trade, you would have lost everything. So it's just, it's tough. It's very tough. But we'll take a look at Snow, and then we'll take a look at, we should have some time, so I'll just look at the big names, Apple, Microsoft, all the stuff that you guys probably are interested in, and then whatever the members want to look at, and we'll prepare for the day. Qualcomm article about chip supply issues because of Russia. Yeah, I didn't see that. Okay, I mean that could definitely come through on this morning. Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll see what it does with that channel support. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone again. We'll see if the craziness creeps in again today, or if it's just going to be our normal squad. So Nasdaq, here's the Nasdaq on the 4-hour chart. We got back below 14.8, right? That was that big level we were watching, 14.8. If we go back to the hourly chart, you guys can see I was very interested to see if 14.8 could hold. That was a previous resistance, and that would have been very nice to see hold. However, we did not. So no longer did we make, we didn't make a short-term high or low. That did not come in. So let's go ahead and take that off the charts. When you look at this market, and you look at what happened yesterday, yes, it was ugly. I totally agree. It was ugly, and it was fear driven, right? It was a lot of fear here last night, late afternoon on that news that interest rates may be increasing quicker. A lot of fear, and that caused that downside here intraday yesterday. A lot of volume too. You guys can check out the volume. Big increase in volume as well. However, when we zoom out here, when you look at this price action, I wouldn't have even thought, something came out here, right? I would have, if I didn't watch the market yesterday and I just slept all day and didn't care about what happened, I would have said, hey, okay, just a normal little resistance, normal little pullback off resistance maybe, and that's normal, right? That's pretty normal if I didn't know the news that came out. So when I look at this chart and I look at the higher low that's holding, I'm still confident about the levels that are here. So until this level breaks, I really am just going to see, do we just trade sideways here? Does this market actually hold at these levels? You guys can see it's sort of a range. It's not perfect. I would say it's anywhere between 14.5 and around 14.4. It's in about a 100-point range right in this area. You guys can see we have previous resistance right here, resistance right here, resistance right here. That turned into support, support, and support. So it is very clear that if this market falls below this previous resistance turning into support, then we know things are going to get very ugly, I believe. I do not think you want to see a drop below this 14.4 with any type of power. If you get that push below 14.4 with real power, real fear, then I think you are going to test these lows of this market. So this is like the line in the sand, guys, on the Nasdaq. A line in the sand, major level. This has to hold. If this does not hold, I think we're in for some pain. So I'm not really worried about anything besides watching the levels. That's who I am. That's just sort of my trading my style. I'm more about, what is the market showing me? What am I seeing on the price action? Rather than trying to, predict the next market downside. I'm not going to get in SPY puts for longer, just because I think, the market, I'm trying to, hypothesize why the market's falling. I would get in SPY puts to either, one, hedge my long-term portfolio, which I did yesterday, or two, if I see, a big drop here under 14.4. If I see that, then I think you're probably going to see that drip to the downside. So today, guys, I would just focus on one thing. I would focus on this key level. If this does not hold, I think you know where this market's going. Here's the 4-hour chart. I would still consider this a higher low on this market. I would still consider this a higher low. You need to get above this high for upside, and you need to hold this low. If you break below this channel here, or if you break above this channel here, you guys know where this market's going to go. But until we get that break of this channel, it's going to be very difficult to trade intraday because you just do not know, right? Yesterday, it looked like we were going to try to push here. We did not, right? We dropped right back down. Today, we could push higher, drop right back down. Then we can push right back up. Then we can push right back down. Oh, maybe back up, maybe back down. That is so difficult to trade in, guys. And if you're a beginner trader and you're not someone that's used to this type of volatility, please be careful because this is where people lose money. And when they look back at the chart, if they lost a lot of money and they look back at the chart like this, they're like, what the hell, man? I mean, I'm trading in an absolute range and I'm trying to trade within this range here. That isn't doing anything. Why am I losing money in this area of the market where we're just not even going anywhere? So, I would personally, if you're trying to find a home run trade, wait for the channel, guys, because that's going to make it easy, right? That's going to make it easy mode once you get the channel that actually breaks. So, obviously do you. I'm not saying, I'm not telling you what to do, but, that's my recommendation. We are in a major chop area and you need some type of structure in either direction. You either need this downside break or upside resistance break. So that's the Nasdaq 14.4 line in the sand. Those are my recommendations. Yeah, you could definitely use an iron if you guys are used to, condors. If it's part of your arsenal, you could definitely use it. I would assume it's been working pretty nicely over the last few weeks. So here's the ES, guys, and it's a very similar look. I don't know why that level's there. It should be there. Oh, it's because it's this previous. But yeah, we should keep the level up there. So here's the ES, guys. It's basically the exact same thing. All right, guys. So, and just if I'm talking about ES levels, just remember, just put a decimal point after the third digit. So the SPY and the ES. So if I say 4,400, that's four. If I say 4,400, that's 440 on the SPY. Just remember that. But I'm gonna go through the ES because that's what I like to go through. Just remember that you put a decimal point after the third digit. So, so let's say 4,500 on the ES is 450 on the SPY. Right? Just make sure you remember that. All right. So the ES, this downside support, the line in the sand is 44.40. So that's $444 on the SPY. That is big. Big. If that breaks down, we're going lower. Absolutely. That needs to hold. 440, 444 on the SPY, 4,440 on the ES. Major level. On the upside, it's very clear, guys. Double top at 45.80, 4,600. Extremely clear, right? It's really not that difficult. Yeah, I know the QQQ is different. I'll go over in a second. It's really not that difficult right now to know where this market wants to go if these levels break. Now, in between this is the difficult part. Trying to trade in this is extremely difficult. And you're basically just giving yourself bad odds trading in between here. I have scaled down extremely large this month. The only big trade I've taken in probably in the last two, honestly, this year is that Nvidia trade I took. It was the only one I really liked. I'm trying my best to not get, sort of chopped up in this area because I know this is just not ideal situation. I know my money is better served in my pocket than trying to chase stuff in here. I'm sure there's plenty of opportunities out there intraday for, SPY puts, SPY calls. But I just, for me personally, guys, less is more when it comes to the market. I don't like making all those decisions. So I'm waiting till I see something I really like. But right now, you can see we are just completely sideways on the ES. We need to either break above 45.80, 4,600, or 44.40. That is the channel that we are trading in. Let's see what happens today, guys. Keep an eye on those levels. Keep them on your charts. For the QQQ, your levels are to the upside, you have 372, and to the downside, you have 354. That's for the QQQ, guys, if you watch the QQQ. 354, 353, right in that area. And then the upside around 372. That's your big channel. Obviously, you have other resistance levels around here. Like 367.25 right there and 372, right? You have two different levels. That's what I would watch for. Well, we're in futures, I think. On Russell? Yeah, I'll take a look at the Russell. Yeah, we're about to look at the Russell now after the Dow. So the Dow, guys, same exact thing. I mean, I could say the same thing for everything, right? So 35,600 on the Dow. To the downside, here's your golden zone, 34.7. So those are your two levels. If we trade within this range, it makes it very difficult. That's the Dow, same exact look. And here's the Russell. Yeah, the Russell definitely has the inverse head and shoulder on the 4 hour. Absolutely. That's why we pushed, right? So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. That's absolutely why we pushed higher, right on this one. However, does it continue? I don't know, because we are back below the neckline. This was sort of your neckline right in this area. You needed to break above this neckline for the inverse head and shoulders to work out. It got it right here, right? You got it right there, but you were right back below it. So, and why? Oh, that's perfect. Why? It's very obvious. Why did we reject? Look at where it pushed into. I didn't even realize that. Look at where it pushed into, guys. The Russell pushed right into 2100. We're going to get rejected all day off that level. That level is going to be a monster level. I do not expect this level to break for, unless something drastically changes in this market, guys. This is a huge level. I mean, this is like, if you could think of the biggest wall out there, brick wall. It's like the steel walls in Fortnite that I see on YouTube videos all the time. I guess they made new steel walls. I don't play Fortnite anymore. I used to, but it looks like they did that. That's my analogy for you. Huge level. You can clearly see that. Look at the reaction to it yesterday. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. Yeah, look at that reaction to it yesterday. We tapped into it and then boom. And that sort of, and it's so funny, guys. This happens all the time, and I really don't have an explanation for it. But this happens more than I would like to admit. Economic news always seems to come out around major technical levels, and I don't know if this is like a thing that I'm just gonna that's that one thing that I'm going to make conspiracy theories about. That I don't, because I hate conspiracy theories. I'm a big guy against conspiracy theories. I think it's a waste of time. But if I had to make one conspiracy theory in this world, it would be that economic news knows when there's key technical levels and it drops at those times. Because right here, guys, the Russell hit this huge level, and this is exactly when the Fed news came out. I mean, it is literally on the dot. We hit that key technical level, and almost the exact time you get the Fed news that comes out about them wanting to raise interest rates quicker. It's funny. Don't take that seriously. I'm not actually thinking that happens. It's just a thing in my head that I seem to see. It just seems to happen so much. It happens all the time. So I don't know if it's just something that we all see but we just can't prove, or if they're actually out here, timing the news. But it's just funny how they push the market up right into that resistance right before that drop. It's crazy. So that Russell level right there, major level, 2100, huge. Yeah, it's definitely a supply zone. I totally get it. But the news came out right here, guys. The news came out right there. Right when, look at this candle. You see this candle of volume? That's right when the news dropped. Right when we hit the 2100. So yes, it was a supply zone, and we probably would have fell off it regardless if the news wasn't even there. Yeah, guys, I totally get it. I mean, we were in supply when the news dropped, right? But it's just funny that it happened at the exact same time. We would have fell either way, in my opinion. But it's just interesting that news came out right when supply was hitting. It happens a lot. I'm not saying it's a real thing, but I'm just saying it's funny how it happens. It just that's what caused that huge it just all the stars aligned right there for Russell to go down. Would have been a fantastic short. I wasn't watching it, but that's the Russell, guys. Overall, futures, they look a little ugly from yesterday, but they are still holding key levels. So it's very interesting. I'm very interested to see what happens today. I'm not going to go crazy and panic. I'm just going to watch to see if these key levels hold. And that's really it. If they start to give up, then we know what we have to do. If they start to break out, then we know what we have to do. So let's just keep an eye on those key levels. That's really it. All right, Affirm. Wild yesterday. I mean, I watched option contracts go up 1,000% in like 5 minutes. I was just watching the options chain, and it was insanity. So around, let's go ahead and zoom into this. This is crazy, man. Around, you guys can see this large increase in volume just randomly into the day. So around, what is this, 1:30? It's like a random time because it was just a random tweet. Around 1:42 p.m. yesterday Eastern time, you got a pop on Affirm. That's because there was a leak of their earnings on their Twitter account. They quickly deleted it, but someone got a picture of it. So You got the push higher. You got the rejection at 83. You sort of just hold up. News is sort of churning. Not sure what's going on. Everyone's like, did Affirm just leak their earnings? What's going on here? We push back higher into 83 again. It looks like we're going to break through it. It looks like you might actually get a breakout here. And then, boom. Affirm actually drops their earnings intraday. They actually announced their earnings intraday because they just probably said, you know what? It's already out. We got to fix this. So they actually dropped their earnings intraday, which was right here, right around 2:48, very random time, just middle of the day, dropped their earnings and death. These option contracts, I think I was watching the $70 puts. These at the highs were like 160. They went to 15. Like 160 to 15 on this drop. It was pretty wild. So craziness. Congrats to anyone that caught the downside, and I apologize to anyone that was stuck in this because it's just nasty. It really is, and that all happened intraday, which is wild. I can only imagine what would happen if all companies reported earnings intraday. It was pretty wild to watch. So if we go to the weekly chart and we look at where this thing is trading now, we can see we got that push and we completely got sold into, and we just rejected at this perfect resistance point. Just really clear, really perfect resistance right here, guys. You can see it. Previous resistance turns into resistance again, almost to the dollar amount. And it's just a classic, selling into rejection point right there. Where do we come back down to? I would assume we probably at least try to test these 50 levels again, see if they bounce. I would assume you get another test of 50. If you do not test that 50, maybe you just chop in this level for a long time. I would be very careful trying to catch this bounce, guys. The ultimate low is 46.50. If you guys want to watch that, that is the all-time low at 46.50 right here on the weekly chart. So be very careful with Affirm today. I do not know what to expect here. We could get some easy downside that you could probably play puts on, but maybe look for some type of fake bounce first. Affirm might give you some action today, but please be careful, guys. That was really bad. I saw call options go from like 15 to 1 cent in like 5 minutes. So you do not want to get stuck in that. And if you're someone that's trying to be consistent, and if you're trying to be a trader that builds an account, stays consistent, makes small profits, finds a good strategy, chasing something like that is just going to be toxic for you. Stay away from it. I know you can make a lot of money, but it is not going to be good for your trading because you're going to start chasing this thing. You're going to get excited. So just be careful there, guys. Roblox. I took a swing trade yesterday on Roblox. I'll show you guys why, and I'll show you guys why it didn't work. So I wanted to get into some longer dated calls on Roblox. It looks like it might actually end up working. So I would definitely be willing to re-enter this, but I didn't want to risk overnight a very ugly day because I had a little bit of suspicion that today and this morning was going to be very ugly. Doesn't seem to be that way, but I wanted to protect myself. So we had previous resistance around 70. And we got through that 70 yesterday. And I was looking at this. I said, hey, this looks like a pretty nice breakout above 70. We turned it into support. I want to try to take this thing for some upside. I think I might be able to catch a little upside move here, maybe into earnings. I liked what I'm seeing. I like the 70 break, previous resistance into support. And I took it, right? I took it. Now, I think about 20 minutes after I took this trade. I'm not kidding. I think it was like 20 minutes after. I took it at 12:36. When did that news come out on the Fed? Where is it? It's right here. 12:45. So I got in this trade at 12:36. About 9 minutes later, the Nasdaq drops out of nowhere, and that just ruined my trade idea. That's really all I have to say, right? Literally 9 minutes later, we get this out of nowhere. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to have a swing trade on. I was thinking, hey, this might be a nice little grind. And we continue to see the same stuff in this market where you just don't know what's going to happen in the next 20 minutes. So I played it safe on this one. I got out on the break of 70. I wanted to see could it hold 70. Got out on the break, lost $120, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I'll definitely be willing to watch this because I do like where Roblox is. I think Roblox is at a good value spot. Down here in the 60s and 70s. Maybe I'll wait for earnings. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll wait for earnings, see how the reaction is, and then play the continuation there. So Roblox, I think it looks good for the future. I think they have a lot of stuff going for them. I think this is a good opportunity on it. I'm just not quite sure if I'm comfortable in it just yet. Gonna wait for earnings and see what happens. But at least worth watching, guys. All right, Nvidia. Nice 260 break over the last week, but we are right back below it, guys. So you guys saw my trade from Wednesday. Very nice trade here. Nice little bull flag. This is like the cleanest chart I've seen in a long time. It really is. It's sad because this is just a gorgeous flag pattern. This is the flag pattern I traded. Just a really nice flag pattern right here. Hope to see more of that, but we are not. So now Nvidia is back below 260, and you can see it is turning it into a little bit of resistance this morning. So 260s, watch the 260s, guys. It needs to get through that. It needs to get through that 260. I would be a little bit cautious. I know it's above it right now, but just be cautious here. You got a lot of resistance up in the 270s. We go to the hourly chart. So you can see this on the hourly. It's very clear, right? I would have wanted it to hold above this previous high. You would want it to see it hold above this previous high here. But what you can see happening right now is we're trying to retest it. We do not want to see this. If we see that, then I would say it's probably time to look past Nvidia for the short term because that is a must hold, right? That is a must push. You must push through that 260. If you reject that, it's going to be a little bit nasty. I don't think you're going to get any support here. So let's see what happens on 260 today, guys. Could be a perfect rejection point for a downside play. Watch that. And we also have earnings approaching on the 16th, so next week. Very interesting. All right, Walmart. So you guys know we had a Walmart swing trade going on, and I took profits around 142. And why did I do that? It's because I was spotting this previous support that I believed was going to be very tough to get through. And I think I timed this thing perfectly. I'm very happy that I actually took a second to look at the chart and say, hey, I do not think we are going to get through this level on Walmart, especially in this market. A market that is just not characterized by major breakouts, right? This market is not characterized by major breakouts. You are not getting major breakouts very often in this market. So if I'm trying to trade something into a major breakout, I need to question myself. I need to say, hey, are you sure you think this? Are you sure a stock's going to get through a major level here in this market? That's the question I asked myself, and I said I probably should play it safe. So I took profits around 141.50, 141s, and we got that rejection off 142. Now, what you see here is Walmart back to a major support level. So what does it do now? What does it do here? Does it actually bounce again? This is where we took the last trade, looking for the bounce. Didn't get a major one like one of these, which I don't expect in this market. I do not expect this type of bounce, in this market, unless it's off of earnings, which are coming up early next week. So let's see what happens, guys. I would at least watch Walmart today. If there's strength on the market, maybe you can catch a little trade here on Walmart off this support, 135, major level support. See if it holds, see if it can push higher. I would definitely watch this one today. Banks. So let's just look at the XLF. So the XLF tried to push higher, right? Tried to push higher, and it could not. It started to get rejected. Basically, this entire zone up here is like just huge supply. Like if you see the banks up in this zone, if you see the XLF up in this zone, just know you're getting into big time supply. Because every time you've pushed into here, you got brutally rejected. So pushed, rejected, pushed, rejected, pushed, rejected. So we are still being plagued by this, large supply zone up here between 40, 75, and it's about a dollar range of supply right up in here. Got rejected again. Not something I would really want to trade into. personally. So I think banks don't offer very good risk to reward here, guys, to the upside. If anything, if you think banks can come back down, but I don't see the risk to reward on financials right now. I think it's very tough to see the XLF through that level. You guys can see JP Morgan is in a similar type of scenario, not quite, because it sort of is coming off its low, but if the XLF does not push through, you're not going to see JP Morgan go higher. So Goldman Sachs filled that gap actually and started to reject. This is a big level for GS right here. Big previous support, turning into resistance. So you don't want to see that hold. You can see right there, support, resistance. You got some better names recently on the smaller banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America. Those have been performing much better. Just keep an eye on Wells Fargo here, trying to hold up the 58 area. Bank of America trying to hold up at this previous high. I still am a little bit concerned about these moves. I don't trust these bank moves very often, but if you guys are, this is not something I really want to get myself into here. I'm not quite sure, does this move hold? It seems a little extended for me to get into it, and I know there's a lot of resistance up here. And on top of that, I know the XLF has a ton of resistance above. So just be careful on the banks here, guys. Make sure you watch this XLF and see if it can actually get through. XLE, what's it doing today? Is it up again? Yeah, energy's up again. It's crazy, man. I think oil is probably the reason. Yeah, oil futures are going wild. All right, Qualcomm. So Qualcomm is back at this support. All right, Qualcomm's back at this support. What does it do here? That's really what I'm watching. All right, support, and support. It is right back in this level. If we go to the 5-minute chart, you're going to see, look at Qualcomm sitting right back in this level. Go to the hourly chart. Right there. So we're right there, guys. So maybe there's an upside play here. I mean, what has it done every other time? It's bounced off of it. So maybe today there is some upside on Qualcomm. If you get some market strength, there could definitely be some strength on Qualcomm. Watch this 174 level. Boeing. So Boeing's interesting. Let me go to the daily chart. Boeing is interesting. Zoom in here. So you're sort of in this little, I need more space here. Let me get more time. Here we go. All right, cool. So there's a few ways to draw this downtrend, and that's the problem that I've been having troubles with, right? You can draw it like this. You can sort of cruise it along these lines. But then you would sort of get these fake outs. I don't really like that way to draw it. And then what I've been doing is I've been drawing it along these wick highs because I think the wick highs is a better place to draw it so you don't get faked out of this one. So I have it along the wick highs, and I have vertical lines at the top of these candles too. That's how I've been drawing this out. Just making sure I'm aware of every high that is on this market. So the more highs I see, the more difficulty I see this moving through, right? But, in the short term, these are the levels that I'm watching here. So Boeing needs to first get through this downtrend and then needs to get through this 230 and 234. I would watch that, all in this area. If it gets through this area, I really do think it does push. I think there definitely should be some push here. Over this 234, 235. If you start to get that move higher, that could be very, very nice. Just, as always, guys, these runs, you got to remember what, something that I like to do a lot is what was I thinking back then? Try to think back to what your mindset was back when, when certain events were going on. And I'll tell you guys, on this run on Boeing, I was very confident. I was like, damn, I might get into some swings here. I think this is the time Boeing starts to break out. Like, this could be it right here. And this is what happened, right? So I know there's a lot of positivity on this run. It could totally happen. Not saying it won't. but just make sure you have that, that little voice in your head that say, hey, I have to make sure I respect this downtrend resistance because this could come in again. I don't want to over leverage myself here and get myself caught in a situation. So just make sure you are careful of all of this resistance up here because it is pretty nasty and it definitely has rejected in the past. I just want to make sure you guys are aware. I'm sure you guys are aware. I'm sure you know. I'm just, here to reiterate it. But just watch that downtrend resistance there. But it does look good. I can't deny it. It does look good. I would love to see it break. I really would. I would love to see it break because then we can actually get some damn momentum on this market. All right, Snow. So you guys remember we were watching this inverse head and shoulders on Snow. I think it was on the 4 hour. And we were targeting this 311 area, right? You guys remember this inverse head and shoulder right here? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And then you have this major resistance up here around 311. Right? And I was saying, hey, it needs to get through that 311 for upside. Look at what it did yesterday. It just went vertical. I mean, it went absolutely vertical. It opened right through that area and then gave it all back. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it gave it all back, but it gave most of that, the continuation move. However, it doesn't look too bad here for a hold of 311. Right? It looks like you're turning previous resistance. Let me get a little bit more time here. To me, it looks like you're turning previous resistance into potential support. So that looks pretty interesting to me, right? You have previous resistance right here into potential support. If this starts to move again, I mean, that's a really strong move on Snow, guys. If it can get above 311, 310, hold it as support, that looks really good. So watch this today. Watch this previous resistance turning into support. That could be fantastic. That could be fantastic. I would definitely keep an eye on this play. All right, guys, let's go over some of the stocks that you guys want to look at. If you could just take 1 second now that you're here, press the like button, please. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We got a lot of subscribers yesterday. Shout out to anyone that's new here. Thank you for stopping by. We got like 300 subscribers just in the live stream yesterday. So that's crazy. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Hope you enjoy these live streams. Let's go over a few stocks here. Let's start with Tesla. So guys, Tesla is just the Tesla's sort of the epitome of what I'm talking about in this market and why you need to be careful. Because I can guarantee you, Tesla has stolen. I think if you would accumulate all the money in the market, I would assume that Tesla has stolen multi-million dollars worth of retail money in this range. I mean, it has to be probably close to maybe even billions if you got some big players. This is death range on Tesla, guys. Death. This is where you get screwed. So just don't trade Tesla in this range unless you are a Tesla master and you are, you're a Tesla master and you scalp it every day and you make money every day. I'm not talking to you. Not talking to you. Or who I'm trying to, come across to are the newer traders that are here watching the channel, trying to learn, when's the right time, when's the wrong time to trade, when's the most high probability time to trade. And what I'll tell you guys right here, this is the lowest probability time to trade Tesla. It is a terrible time to trade Tesla. And just please be careful here, guys, because this thing is going to chop you to death. It's going to show you upside. It's going to tank on you. It's going to show you downside. It's going to bounce. So, I mean, you guys know what Tesla can do. We have all seen the power of Tesla. And trust me, you are not going to miss out on anything here. You want to wait for this, where it actually starts going, or you want to wait for the nasty downside, where it actually starts going. That's easy. That's easy mode on Tesla, and that can make you a ton of money. But trying to catch this and get stuck in that, it's just not worth it to me. So wait for this to move. If you see Tesla between 950 and 880, say to yourself, I'm not trading it. I have not traded Tesla for a long time. Maybe I've taken a few scalps here and there for one contract for out of the money just to play around with it, but nothing that's going to actually make me money or actually lose me money. Just please wait for this area. Please. if you are a new trader, if you're someone that's, trying to get, your feet under yourself, trying to get, build momentum, trying to, get on the right side, that is not what you want to mess around with. So, Unity, but I'm telling you, once it breaks out, it'll be easy. That's what we got to wait for. Just a little bit of patience. Just a little bit of patience. Yeah, I mean, guys, Tesla, you can absolutely scalp Tesla. You guys know what I'm trying to say here. If you scalp Tesla, you have to know that you are exposing yourself to a lot of risk, and you have to be good at it, right? A lot of people are not good at it. You have to be good. I'm not talking to the people, that if you guys are out there consistently profiting off Tesla scalps, fantastic. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people that, are trying to learn, that haven't traded Tesla and like, oh, should I trade Tesla today? I would be on the side of caution. All right, Unity Software. It had a nice little move here, but I think Mike, you probably put this on the chart. It's just tough. I mean, I don't see the upside much here. It's a tough chart to say, hey, this looks bullish. I just don't really see it, especially the type of stock it is. It's sort of that smaller cap. I mean, I would just watch it, over 120. That's the level I gave you yesterday, Mike. I think this is who put it on here. I don't know. It might be. I might be just talking to some random person now. But anyways, 120. That's the level I'd watch on Unity. GM. Yeah, Matt Diamond's good at it. But even Matt Diamond, said yesterday, Matt Diamond's good at it. But he even says it, it's a hard market, guys. So, and I definitely agree with him. He's absolutely right. Just be careful out there. I always try to be on the side of caution for you guys. I'm not going to be here saying, oh, go trade Tesla today, guys. Go kill it. Go make $1,000 on a Tesla scalp. I'm trying to keep it realistic because it can be very bad. GM, yeah, I mean, it has nice support, but do you really think GM moves higher here? I don't know. There's so many charts that I look at that look good, but I just don't have any confidence in seeing them actually move higher. What makes GM move higher here? Really? I mean, what is going to cause GM to actually make a big move for us here? It's just tough, right? I just don't see it. I mean, you have the support. Look at these daily charts on GM, guys. You ever seen a daily chart like this? Tell me what this trend is here. It's an absolute disaster of a daily chart. You got a big red bar, got a green doji candle, gap down, red candle, gap down, big green candle with like a terrible wick. I mean, it's just craziness. How do you even trade this? You have no type of edge here on GM. Right? I don't know. That's just my opinion. It just looks like I wouldn't touch that thing. Fed officials push back on Bullard. Just like that. There's news about the Fed officials pushing back on. Thanks for that, Sierra. It's just, isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? I mean, it's whether if we all just take a step back and we all take away our egos of what we think's gonna happen, what we think's right, what we think is wrong. If we all just step back for a second and take that all away, last night in the Discord chat, we were saying, this is a little concerning, like this could really break down. And then this morning, we're getting news about them pushing back and the market moving higher. So it's just like, there's just absolutely in my opinion, guys, there's just no reason to try to anticipate what's going to happen. It's just a matter of watching every single day, coming to this market every single day, seeing what happens real time. What is the market doing real time? Trying to anticipate, trying to hypothesize what is going to happen in a longer period of time is just impossible. It's impossible because yesterday everything looked terrible. Even myself, I was a little worried. I said, hey, that's not good news. That's not good news. And this probably could cause some downside. And then this morning you get this. Okay, Brave Star. I'm gonna have to hide you in the chat if you keep doing that. It's just crazy. It's crazy. If we all just take a step back, and take away our egos. You have to accept. You have to agree with me there. I mean, how do you predict what's going to happen here? You just can't. So Uber, some craziness yesterday. Stock. This is another thing that happened yesterday. Market will crash. Okay, great. And I think market goes to all-time highs. How about that? Who's right? So, Uber had some craziness yesterday. It got halted because of news pending. It got unhalted, and boom, straight back down. So interesting. Do you trade this chart? Do you trade this chart? I don't think so. I mean, I don't see, what's your edge here? I mean, unless you think Uber just goes up because you like the company or something, I don't see anything that shows me opportunity. I see a really ugly candle, maybe more downside to this 35, but then again, I don't have much margin here. I don't have much opportunity because if I play the downside, I got about $3 to major support. If I play the upside, I think I would just be guessing because I don't see any type of upside, continuation that gives me confirmation. I just said this would be a no trade. This would be a total no trade for me. I wouldn't even look at this chart. I mean, it has nothing, it's offering me nothing here, in my opinion. I mean, maybe some downside to 35. Or if you guys just want to swing trade Uber, if you believe in it long term, maybe that's what you do. So that's Uber. SEDG. Solar Edge. Okay, little solar company. Yeah, if you wait for the bottom support, maybe. Yeah, it could be. All right, I mean, this company, this stock is bouncing off some major support for sure. That would have been a nice catch. BBIG. So you got a nice support here at 220, right? Nice 220 support. Can you get a push higher? It seems like it's a pretty choppy stock up here. So I would just watch it for a continuation move. Maybe you get into like this 300 area, maybe at the best. But, if you caught it off this low, that would be perfect. And it's been 3 weeks since it bounced. So, it was probably better to try to catch it. If you missed it here, you might want to accept that you might be a little bit behind. Because if you see, what did it do at this low? Look at this double bottom right here. Look at this little W. It's actually very nice. Little W here. Double bottom. That's a nice little formation right there. And that is right at previous support, right? Right at previous support. So, I mean, that's clean stuff. If you caught it off the low, fantastic. Great trade. If you chase it now, you're just understand that your risk to reward is all out of whack. Because you have to risk down here and you have to reward up here. It's about a 1-to-1. It's probably a little bit worse than a 1-to-1. So just be careful. Down here was the entry. If you missed it, sometimes you got to accept it. XOM. Yeah, XOM's been slipping a little bit just because it went absolutely wild. XOM's been slipping just a tad. But XLE, I think, is pretty strong today. Let me see. XLE's up a little bit. Oil futures are up a little bit. So I would just follow that trend. If you start to see that continue, all right, Brave Star. I don't know if you're a bot or if you're real or if you just can't help yourself. So XOM, nice push. It's pulling back a little bit. I don't think you get scared of that. I think you look to see if it holds maybe this 20 SMA on the daily chart. That's what I would look for. You did break below the SMAs on the 4-hour, which I would have liked to see hold. So maybe like 76 you watch for on a pullback if you do get back there. But very nice. Very nice. I mean, I think this does continue. You just got to watch for that XLE to continue. VMW. What is VMW? VMware. Oh, I've heard. Yeah, okay, VMware. I just don't trade these tickers, guys. That's why I'm not aware of a lot of them. So a lot of these are new to me. So here's what goes on in my head, guys. If I look at a chart like this and it just sideways, I don't like to look at it. because I just don't like getting stuck in sideways action. What I like to see is like charts like this that have a history of sort of uptrending, right? I want to see an uptrend. That is something that gives me an edge, in my opinion. When I look at a stock like VMW, VMware, it's very difficult, in this last year to know, what's happening here. Now, you could very easily just, trade the tops to the downside and trade the bottoms to the upside. Absolutely. I mean, that is totally totally a possibility. But, it's just, it's tough. So, I would look for downside here. Absolutely. If you're looking for downside here, that's what I would do. I would look for some downside, put a stop above these highs maybe, if you want to get stopped out above those highs, and just see if you can trade this thing back down. That would be my best guess as to what this market wants to do, as that is what it's done for the last year. So I like to trade. I like to base my decisions also off of what's happened historically. And if I just look at this chart historically, every time it hits up here, it rejects. That would be the only edge I would have for you. The only thing you have to worry about is earnings, and maybe earnings is the reason it breaks out, right? You don't know. Maybe it breaks out of earnings, so you could get stuck in that. But, it's just difficult in a sideways chart. The only thing that I would see in a sideways chart is playing the channel. And playing the channel means you look for downside here. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. If you want to come hang out in the Discord chat, press the link down below. If you want to see the Options Insider merchandise, make sure to go to www.optionsinsider.com/merch. I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat. I'm sure you guys aren't interested, but I'm going to do it anyway. Maybe you want to check it out. So there it is. If you want to check it out, you can check it out there. If you want to join the chat, make sure to join us. What else? I think that's it. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Have a good Friday. Be safe. Be well. Thanks for coming. Press the like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys Monday. I'll see you guys Monday. Talk to you later.